So,
How's everybody?
To Starlost Shanties episode 2. Today's a little different because I'm in charge of Cryo today. I am the moderator for this session, as well as one of the players. I play Socrates and Shoes on Starlost Seas. And so, let's go ahead and say hello to all of our lovely guests today. We'll start at the top left with, would you like to introduce yourself, sir?
Who's on the top left?
Yeah, we can't.
That'd be
see
you.
What are
You are.
talking about?
Oh, shit, yeah.
Who's on the top left? Is it me? I'm on the top left. Hi
Yeah,
guys,
it's
it's me. I mean, I play Twink.
All right, moving on over to his right, which is Mr. Pulse. Pulse, I promise I will name the order better this time.
I was like, I don't know who's where.
You're pointing the wrong way,
Hi.
Kraut.
I play a drug addict that loves booze.
The worst part is he's not wrong.
He's very accurate, apt description.
Then we will move over to the man himself, down in the bottom left. The one who's in charge of all of us, mostly.
I in charge of you implies I have some kind of control.
Yeah, which you don't.
Don't. Hello, I'm Cryolane. I'm your DM. It's good to be here. I'm very excited.
And last but certainly not least, the older of the two birds.
I'm Kay. I play Dolus. Very sad, scary looking bird.
Very sad, scary looking bird. Yo,
And
you
so-
have depression though.
Hell yeah.
And so we have a lot to talk about today. It has been, roughly about 10 episodes since our last Shanties?
Yeah.
When we last left off, Pulse had not joined the party yet. Kieran had just about left. He left the following Monday. And we had just fought a stone dragon.
Yeah, yo, is it rewind time?
It's rewind time,
It's
Cryo.
rewind time.
Let's get the recap in. When last we left our trepid adventurers on our last Shanties, the party was all set to continue their journey to Shadestep. Unfortunately, that very evening, Kieran left them. He vanished in the middle of the night. And so, they continued on their way, uncertain of his fate. We're still uncertain of his fate. But, luckily for them, a couple of days later, they happened upon some basilisk, and one of the people who was turned to stone by those basilisks was Marijuana, the lovely druid played by Pulse Effects.
Still not
group
over that
can-
name.
The group continued on to Lorelei's retirement home, which Twink quickly made Twink Tania through a deal. It was fair. She was given her options. She agreed. Dolus committed a genocide against an entire group of boar. Socks freaked out about it a little. Noah freaked out about it a little more.
Yeah.
And then we got to Shadestep, and we met a bunch of world leaders like Illis and Petrin. He's not a world leader. He's just Socks' old friend.
Yeah, he's just a dude.
Everybody went to the conference. Everybody vibed. Only good things happened, except for, the fact that Twink learned that there's an evil avatar of Tiamat that's out there somewhere, plotting to bring about the end of the world. Also, immediately after that, Lorelei's ship was attacked. At the same time the conference was attacked, it was revealed that they're spooky doubles of all of the party that was originally teleported. These Starlost. And then, let's see, the conference was attacked again at the dinner. Twink proceeded to murder 26 men?
That's
27? 25. 25. There you go. It's not that bad.
Not that bad.
Not that bad. And then Shadestep decided to enact their own version of the Unreliables Law, and everyone told Sodden he could go suck it. And that's about where we're at.
Yep. So, that
good,
is...
good recap.
Yeah, that's a good recap. So, with all of that, I have been slowly building up some questions for all of you, so we will go ahead and start at the top. This one is from Princess Nickix, Nikkix.
Nikkix.
Yeah. And this one's great to ask right after everything started going down. Which character is the party's parent?
Twink.
Oh, that's a good question. Because I
don't
want it.
know.
Here's the thing. It's simultaneously Twink, I'd say, and not Twink at all, because he needs a reasonable
an
person
adult.
around. Like, I don't know, Ian. You're Twink. What would you say?
I'm more like the uncle, you know. I feel like Socrates is more the parent. I'm like the uncle. I'm the fun uncle that
You're
when
the-
they say
that's
no,
true.
yeah, exactly. I'm the fun uncle. So that's what Twink does. Twink fills that role. He's still family, but he's not the parent.
Yeah,
Twink
and
is
he's
the
still like
fun uncle.
reliable when you need him. Like he could still be the reliable adult in the situation if need be,
Yeah.
but he's not your first option.
No.
I can see that.
All right. Well, that one was short and sweet, and this next one might also be short and sweet, but I feel like we need to debate on what the actual definition of this is. This one comes from
Okay.
Homeless Evie, also on TikTok. Who in the group is that guy?
What does that mean?
What does
Pulse.
that mean?
Pulse is that guy. Pulse
You
is that
know,
guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's
Yeah.
Paul. Yeah, it's fair.
Yeah.
Pulse is Pulse.
Pulse is that guy.
Pulse is that guy.
Yeah, when you come in with a character named Marijuana,
Marijuana? Yeah,
Yep.
you were immediately that guy.
you became that guy.
Next question.
Next question.
Like even in this other campaign that we're a part of, like, that's my role.
It's
Yeah.
true.
Pulse's
Even in
role-
our private, okay, Pulse's role is always just he's that guy,
He's that guy.
that crazy one. We all know who it is when he pulls up.
I can't tell you how many times I've played D&D with Pulse, where there'll be moments where he'll be like, "My character's gonna do this," and I'm just like,
What?
But why?
"Why?"
So I'm a little
Why?
sad because I guess we should also address that since the last time we've done Shanties, our lost episode came out. The
Yeah.
infamous episode 13, which we lost the audio for. We replaced it with Starlost Sketchbook.
Put so much lore building into episode 13.
But let's face it, episode 13 was fucking phenomenal with the Starlost Sketchbook.
we
and
can
they
thank Ray for that.
Yeah, Ray Newmowick, aka Lotus, she was an absolute champ with that. She spearheaded a lot of it, gave me all of her notes, and like it was a big group effort to make sure that everybody could get their lore across and that everything that we needed for the future episodes was in that episode. Plus, it was just fucking cute as hell. Am I right?
Yeah,
Was.
Stan Ray.
We stand Ray.
We stand. I have watched it repeatedly since it's come out.
Mhm.
Even now, like we're talking about episode 18, but we're on to like we've done extra sessions since then, so we're like 23, 24, a bunch of
Roundabout.
stuff. I still watch the sketchbook sometimes.
Sketchbook was
just 'cause it's
probably
cute.
one of the greatest things we've ever made. And guys, for those of you in the chat and for those of you who are watching this later on YouTube, if you want to see more Starlost sketchbooks, let us know. We would love to do some quote unquote not canon things. You know, we have a lot of time where we're on the boat and we just kind of yada yada through the days. And I feel like it would be fun to do like almost little goofy
Little
stories. with everybody.
glimpses into everybody's life on the boat.
Yeah.
Fun.
So, I'm looking at chat right now, and I see Demi putting, Twink is the uncle that spikes the kids' blood sugar right before they're going home, just because they're not my problem anymore.
Everybody gets
Yeah.
ice cream in the drive home.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Father Socrates walks out, and all the kids are bouncing, Lotus is bouncing off the fucking walls, and he's just like, oh. Yep.
You just gotta let her vibe, man.
Yeah, because if you don't, she'll axe kick a knife through your chest.
Yeah, that happened. I forgot.
That happened.
Dolus is the kid who, like, all the other kids are like, "Oh, let's do this thing," and then Dolus is like, "No, you're gonna get in trouble. Stop."
Zach, stop.
Stop, you're gonna get in trouble.
All right, so we'll move on to the next question, and I feel like this is one we might have addressed in the first one, but maybe we should tap on it again. What made you all want to do D&D and or start streaming it on YouTube? I feel like we should really start with the first part of that question because we sort of answered the second part in the first one a little. We'll go back to it, but what got everybody into D&D? Like, let's start with that.
Like into D&D as a whole?
Yeah. Oh, also, this is from Elijah Lloyd over on YouTube. Thank you so much for your question.
Hello, Elijah.
Let's start with Cryo.
Oh, God. So, I'm a fucking nerd.
What?
I'm a fucking
A nerd on our D&D stream?
I'm a nerd.
Get him out of here.
Lord of the
Get him
Rings,
out of here.
Chronicles of Narnia. Fantasy was my shit growing up. D&D was just a natural progression. I've talked about it a lot, but I am a forever DM in the sense that I started DMing and I currently DM more than I play. I only have one campaign I've ever played in. So I really like building big worlds and I really like making them really interactive, and I'm too lazy to become a coder, so I'm not going to make a video game. So here we are. D&D it is.
All right.
That's fair.
And then just because I feel like me, Kay, and Pulse all have similar stories, we'll move to Ian.
Yeah, so I mean, growing up, I was always the same way as Cryo. I was a fantasy guy, the sci-fi guy. I always played, MMOs online. Like I always played these fantasy games with my friends. And one of the guys that I always played these games with was like, dude, have you ever played Dungeons and Dragons? And I was like, no.
No,
No.
I have not.
And he's like, dude, let's get a group together. Let's play Dungeons and Dragons. It's one night. And I'm like, all right, cool. We ended up playing for 3 days straight. And that was kind of like my introduction to it. I was like, all right, this is cool. This stuff is cool. And it just, I kept wanting to play and do more stuff. And eventually I got to that point. I was like, I feel comfortable. I'm going to try to DM. And that's how I got these guys involved as well. So.
Yep. And then Pulse, I know that you started like at least a year before me and Kay did. So how did you get into D&D?
I was actually forced against my will.
Really?
This is a story. I'm ready.
Oh,
Yeah,
boy.
wait a minute.
Everybody sit back, grab a drink, and let's go along for the ride.
Good broadcaster friend of mine was like, yo, I want to try D&D, and I was not into role play like at all. Oh man, I was uncomfortable with it. It was like weird to me. I was very into like fantasy and stuff generally, but like it just wasn't my thing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I was put into this campaign, and I actually started really liking it. That's, I would say, pretty much where a lot of, I think, my general characters like chaos comes from, is because like it just, I could put myself in there and just generally like make things a little bit more fun, a little bit more spicy.
Dive into
Yeah,
a
you
river.
certainly managed to make things spicy.
In our home game, for context, Pulse dove into a river despite the fact his character was already kind of tired, got washed into a cave, and when we pulled him out, there were 2 elementals waiting for our asses. And we were saved by magic kitty litter.
And we also already had a rope to like for him to like grab and like get across.
And then once he was in there, he, instead of doing anything for like half the fight, he molded earth into the ground
to hide.
Y'all gave away my position. It was
that
fine.
was genius. To be fair. Like, mad respect for that molder.
Listen, that is the closest I have ever gotten to a "how do you want to do this" in D&D was dropping the kitty litter as I was drowned by a water elemental.
True.
And now Kay, feel free to answer. What got you into D&D, buddy?
So when Ian was DMing his campaign that like got a lot of us into it. Originally I wasn't one of the initial like people who was in it, but I think we had lost one person. And I remember like cuz you know, I would talk to like all the other people who were there and they would be like, "Oh yeah, no, we're going to play D&D like whatever." And like the whole time I'm secretly thinking like, well, I kind of want to play D&D, you know? And then, and then, but I never said anything because I was just like, oh yeah, no, hope it's
And
fun. And then one day Steph was like, "Okay, do you want to play?" And I was like, "Really?" And then I was
you mean it?
and then I
um,
played D&D for the first time. I remember just like I fell in love while I was making my character because I was like, oh my God, there's so many different options and there's so many ways I can like customize and like personalize it to this like character and like flavor. That's my favorite thing about D&D is like flavoring things
yeah.
to like the character specifically, like especially like that's why I really love like spells and like spellcasters and magic. Like I just it's like my favorite thing. I was like, this is the best. I love it. And then I was invited to this campaign and I was like, sure.
Yeah. So my
Sure.
story was similar to Kay's. I was invited probably only a month before he was, because I remember you and I hopped in around the same time, because the server had gotten made. But yeah, no, before Ian's campaign started, Keith and Steph of Anime and Keith Montalbo, you can find them both on Twitter and 6-7 different other platforms. They hit me up and they were like, hey, do you want to try out D&D? And I was like, I have never done D&D before. Like I had heard general concepts of D&D and I had seen it sort of played in Stranger Things.
Oh my god.
So
that's a way though. That's
Yeah.
legit. Like people saw that TV show and they're like, "Oh, that looks cool. Let's do that."
yeah. And like that didn't really get me into it, but they were like, "Do you want to try? I think it'd be fun." And at that time, me and Cryo were writing this story called Kingship, where a lot of us were,
Kingship.
we were having a lot of fun building up some lore, and they were like, "It'll be fun. Like you basically just get to create a character on the fly. So give it your best." And I did. And I guess that kind of leads into the second part of this question of what made us start streaming it on YouTube. We were doing Ian's session, and originally, like, some of the party members weren't super duper comfortable with it being allowed on. Hi, Claire. Sorry to interrupt myself real quick. So yeah, we were doing Ian's session, and originally some of the members who were in that campaign weren't super comfortable with recording it or posting it. So we started doing. I started collecting people from the campaign and a couple other people with Oz and stuff like that. And I was like, hey, I want to do a campaign that we post on YouTube and treat it like a show. Let's share this story together. And create something really cool. And it's kind of funny now. Like, right as we're doing this, the TikTok's grown probably about 1,000 followers within 2 to 3 weeks. The YouTube's grown by a couple hundred. And now what used to be like, oh, we were happy to get 20 views in a week, we now get 100 in a couple of days. And that like, and it makes my day seeing comments from people like all of you and everybody on TikTok and everything saying how much they love the characters, or the fact that they binge watch 18 3-hour sessions in a couple of days. Like that, it blows my mind that you guys love these characters this much. But yeah, it was pretty much us just doing that. It was deciding that we wanted to share a story with all of you guys, even if we weren't the most experienced D&D players in the world, and certainly not the biggest personalities in the world, but we wanted to give you guys something
we
to
have
remember.
big personalities. Don't
Yeah,
sell us
sorry.
short. Don't go selling us short, man.
Trying to say I'm not experienced.
Yeah, I'm about to say.
D&D. I've been doing this since I was 14.
I'm not experienced.
Okay,
Yeah.
well,
I was gonna say we average out to like an average D&D player now.
We make one D&D player as a collective group. The
So
title
so I guess right around that same line, also from Elijah Lloyd, and it's great to ask this: what inspired us to make our characters? And we'll say specifically for Starlost in this one, we could talk about the home campaign if we want. Cryo, with you, feel free to talk about Errol, but also you know, feel free to talk about. I know we've addressed.
Kyle, I want you to talk about why you've created certain NPCs. Why don't you do that instead?
Okay.
That's actually
Because
great.
I like that. I like that better because you are designing them and you are giving them their own personalities. I want to hear a little bit about that from you.
I mean, you all share one brain
take a
cell
while.
sometimes, so the math works out. Yeah, maybe we should end this question with Cryo since he'll take the
Yeah, he'll take the longest.
Yeah.
So in this case, we'll go in reverse order. Kay, what inspired you to make Dolus?
Okay, so when I was asked to join this, huh?
No,
when I was
no,
a young,
sorry.
no, fuck off. I was like, wait, did I fuck something up? When I was invited to this campaign, I was just like, yeah, sure. I had no characters in mind because the thought of playing more than one D&D campaign, something that our friend Ray is very familiar with. It was a foreign concept to me, so I was like, wait, I can make 2 characters, like, you know.
I
And
could make
so-
another one.
I can have more.
Gee, Billy, how come mom lets you have 2 characters? No, but I was telling Ray, I was like, I have no fucking clue what to make, you know. And then she was like, "Oh, I'm making like I'm making an Arakakra, you know." And then we were just talking about it, and she was like, "Oh, if you want, like, our characters can like know each other like from before." And I was like, "Oh, that's like a really interesting idea." Um, and so we were just talking about it, and like so because like me and Ray were just thinking, and we're like really good friends, you know. And so Ray was just like, "Oh, if you want, your character," because she hadn't written like Lotus's like backstory fully yet. She was like, "You could be like Lotus's brother," and I was like, that makes this so much easier because our backstories are the same, which means I don't have
Wait,
to
wait,
write
did
the
you-
backstory.
You piggybacked off Ray's backstory. You didn't even
Yes,
make
I
it.
did.
Oh my god.
Well, I wrote my backstory like the 5 years before Lotus was born, but like the entering the campaign, that part, like I piggybacked off Ray, but like I have my own baggage from before she was born.
My own baggage.
But yeah, so it was thank Ray for the creation of my character. And
Thank Ray for Dolus.
Yeah, I wanted to have like because in the other campaign that I play, my character is very skittish. You could say very like Weasley, like kind of, you know, just
Except when
Very afraid.
fighting King Kong.
yeah, when he's fighting King Kong, he's a fucking beast, but like usually he's very afraid of like everything, and so I was just like, I want the opposite of that. So I wanted like a really intimidating kind of like spooky, as some people might describe him, a spooky boy. And so
He do be pretty spooky, which is
Yeah.
perfect. It's spooky season.
yeah. And I love Halloween. So continue. Next person.
All right. If we're going in reverse order, that means Pulse Effects, the newest addition to the Starlost crew. Why'd you make Mara? Why did you do this to us?
Go on, Pulse. Show us your train of thought for marijuana.
All right. So you initially talked me into Drew.
I
if
did.
You remember that?
yeah.
And so you know,
'Cause
the
Pulse
first
was-
thing I thought.
I was saying that you were like, I don't want to play another warlock, and I don't necessarily want to play like a super caster, like, you know, the similar to warlock, the sorcerer, the wizard, and I was like, you know, there are a couple, and then I noticed druid, and I like to read, like, I have very simple knowledge to where it's like I read all the way down a page, and I read druid, and I sent it to Pulse, and I was like, yo, what about a fucking druid?
Oh, I remember that specifically, but like, so I was thinking about like, you know, druid and how I could pretty much flavor it in my own fun little way. Just be little chaos gremlin as usual. And you guys specifically were like, don't make Annie May, which is my super chaos gremlin warlock.
Yeah, straight up
Uh,
murder hobo.
Yeah, exactly.
Straight
It's not
up
that I
murder.
didn't want to see Annie, because Annie's a great character and I love Annie. It's just that I wanted to see another side of Pulse's
I want to
brain.
see what
Yeah.
you can do.
I wanted to see
Pulse.
another side of Pulse's brain.
Show me what you're made of.
And as per tradition with basically all the characters I've made so far, I knew I had to get a name that was gonna just make people be like, why? Or just laugh generally. And one of the things I thought of that I wanted to like bounce off of was like nature. And what is whenever I think of like druids, I think of like plants typically. And next step, drugs.
Ah,
Wait, see,
yes.
that's what you
The
live in.
natural
Yeah,
progression.
Kids,
exactly. Yo, I think I'm
Ian-
gonna start a garden, and then you become a pot dealer.
And then you
Like,
become
Ian-
Walter White.
It's time for our PSA. Kids, don't do drugs.
Drug.
No.
Don't do drugs, kids.
Yo, in the chat.
Unless they're legal.
But with what is it?
I
Marijuana
saw
being a-
Mara for the first time. I thought it was Mara for marinara.
No,
Is it Italian?
no. Can you imagine giving everybody meatballs?
I was thinking more mob boss.
I'm gonna make you an offer you can't refuse.
I'm gonna make
Johnny,
you
you're gonna-
you can't refuse.
I'll give you a character
I
idea.
need you to bring me
Oh
some
no.
meatball sandwich.
Watch out for Pulse's next character, Stevie B's. Papa John.
Jimmy John.
No, it'll be a cleric named Father John.
Oh, Father Jonathan.
Yeah, Father Jonathan.
There
But
we go.
I did actually a ton of studying beforehand just to see like what the druid was all about, and the spell that stuck out to me the most was Goodberry, and I thought of it like this: is I asked Cryo ahead of time, and I was like, "Can I flavor my berries to have like the effect of making people really happy?" And possibly a little hungry, and he was like, "Oh hell yeah, dude, do it!" And he loved the idea. Now, like I'm having everybody roll like
Wisdom
was it
saves.
Constitution wisdom saves
Wisdom
basically,
save.
constantly, and I rolled off the idea, just to
Oh.
make it a little bit more flavorful on the name, and just to like sort of rather than like put the chaotic energy into how the character reacts to just I think like the people around him. He's more calm around people.
Yeah.
Rather he has a chaotic curiosity because he's a drifter. And so that's kind of where I put the chaos in, is like he's a natural drifter. He's curious about the environment around him, and sort of wants to just explore as much as he can, no matter what, in just like the most chaotic possible ways. You guys will see that in the future, and it's great.
Oh
All
god,
right.
once he levels up. Oh god, the spells.
God. We don't need to talk about that. You guys will see it soon enough, but oh boy. All right. Yeah, I mean, with Pulse's characters, yeah, no, it was really interesting. We told him like, try something different from Annie. He took that to heart. Like he took that to heart and ran with it. And we joke with Pulse and say that like he's an absolutely chaotic person, but it's like he said, he does his fucking research, and like, he makes sure that he brings in the best character possible. So with that being said, Mr. Ian and Twink 10 Seeker.
Okay, so there's like two things going on with Twink. One, I've never played with nor DM'd a gnome. So I knew immediately. I was like, I'm going gnome for sure. Like out the gate, it was a no-brainer. Gnome was what was happening. Just because it's like, it's just added role play, right? There's something I've never seen. it's something that I wanted to try, and I was like, it was set in stone immediately. As for his personality type, I've always made characters that are nothing like myself when I've tried to play, and I was like, you know what? For this, I'm okay with a little bleed in. And I felt like an artificer was the best way for me to kind of bring those personality traits out. Um, that was kind of the whole thing behind it. That's why I did it.
Turned out really good.
Like, yeah, he's the best character in Starlost.
Listen,
Oh, damn.
we all want to
Damn.
believe that. We all want to believe that, but let's face it, we know who the fan favorite is.
Yes.
Okay, fuck the fans. It's Twink.
Hey, my dude.
Sultan, by the way, thank you so much for the subscription. But yeah,
Also, by the way, not fuck the fans. We love you guys, and please keep watching.
no, we love you so much. But we all know that you like Lotus better than all of us. That includes the that includes the players.
Yeah, no, I mean, I like Lotus more than I like Ray, even. Like, this is-
Okay, and you know that Ray wouldn't be offended to hear that.
Yeah,
She'd
she'd be like, I do
Lotus is great."
too.
yeah, she'd be like, hell yeah, Lotus is amazing.
So in this case, should we have me go or Crowd? Do we want to?
You
All
go.
right.
Go.
No, I don't get to go. He's the moderator.
Yeah, I was about to say. Like, I've just been kind of chiming in.
Fine, I'll go. Let's see. Let's break down how I made some characters. To begin with, I get the very first thing I want to say for this campaign. It is sort of a sequel to. I've said this before. It's sort of a sequel to a campaign I DM'd in high school, and so a few of the characters I already had built from the old camp. You met old characters for the first time ever. Actually, you met Illis, and you met Nolan, and you met Fagin, who were the 3 NPCs you've met from the way back. And that campaign was something I half-assed in high school because I wanted to play D&D, but I didn't want to actually commit. So they were the stereotype of like pretty cleric elf lady who's kind of aloof, and the stereotypical emperor dude who like is kind of an ass but not that bad. And Fagin, actually, I guess as an NPC, is a character I built for the first time because he was a player character before. But Fagin was easy to build because that player specifically said, they were like, okay, for my character, he's just Aragorn. He's just Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. And that's all Fagin ever was. That's how they played him. That's how they did it. Fagin was just Aragorn from Lord of the Rings. So for Fagin as a character, for me, I was just like, just Aragorn, I guess. As far as characters I built totally from scratch for the first time, the first one I built for the campaign was actually, first character I thought of was Atronon, but I didn't build him. I was like, oh, we can have a like big dude, like Holdmaster. I think he'd be neat. But I mean, he isn't around a lot, so I guess there's no real point to talk about it. First character who you guys interact with a lot that I made and thought of and it was Lorelei, actually. Lorelei was the first character I gave a lot of thought to.
She was the first character we ever interacted with.
She was. She's got a lot going on, actually. I for Lorelei, the only real inspiration I had in that sense was I really like women that'll kick my ass.
Okay, there it is! There it is! I was like, say it, you coward! Say it!
I can't either way. I really like women that'll kick my ass, and that's all I wanted for Lorelei. I'm like, I want a character she's attractive, she doesn't take shit from anyone, she's just kind of tired, and she would kick your ass. And that is how I built Lorelei as a character. After her, actually, I built a character who we've been talking about a lot lately. I built Fairmont, who you guys still haven't seen. So you don't know anything about him, but I actually have like a whole page of notes about Fairmont. that may or may not ever come to be. And then for a lot of the NPCs and such, I just sort of left it up into the air. I came up with Harmon 2 days before we started. Because I was one of those things that I knew you guys were going to get on a boat. I knew you were going to go to places. I knew you were going to go to Inshasla. I knew eventually you were going to meet up with Lorelei, and she was going to be like your main captain. And then I was like, who the hell is going to be their captain until then? And I came up with Harmon. And I think the chaotic energy of, hey, I have 2 days to come up with a captain expressed itself perfectly in that man.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yeah.
For Mr. Lane.
Oh,
our
yeah.
DM.
Oh, yeah, let's go.
So for a lot of the characters like Lorelei and like Harmon that you make, do you have like a character sheet ready if we were to try fighting them?
So I originally built like Lorelei and Harmon and da-da-da. I have another account on D&D Beyond I made to build them because I didn't want to pay for the subscription.
Okay.
So I used another email.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I originally built them as characters. And then I ditched that somewhere around like episode 6. Somewhere between 6 and 8. Somewhere around the dragon fight. I ditched that. Because I was like, that's what I took some time and just sort of built them all. They're in my notes now. So they have like they have stats here and there, and they have stat blocks I can grab if I need them, if you guys ever decided to throw down. But they're built more like a creature encounter than anything. Like their stat blocks look like you would expect of like a boss.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, so originally I would have just pulled up another character sheet that I could have like downloaded and given to you guys, but now it's not such.
I see.
Which makes it a little easier for me because then I don't have to A, sign into my other account, and B,
Harmon built different.
Harmon is built different. All of the NPCs are kind of built different. The most basic of the NPCs is Eggold, which he will tell you any day of the week. I don't have to tell you that. Eggold has told you already.
When did you
And he
make
gets the most
Archibald?
screen time.
Yeah, Eggold
When did I
gets
make
the most-
Archibald?
Eggold gets the most screen time, hands down of any of our
True.
NPCs.
He's just a dude.
Yeah, we love
he's
him.
just vibing. You know,
Anybody who thinks we hate him, you're wrong.
I built Archibald about a month before we started. I had already built Atronon, and I already had the whole plan for him to be like, hey, I actually am betraying the Empire, da-da-da, here's what you need, go about your way, I'm gonna pretend you guys beat me, bye. And then I was like, but, like, what's his motivation? Is it just because he's a nice guy? And that was originally my plan. And then, like, a month before, I was like, what if half-elves just don't always have pointy ears? So maybe he's a half-elf. Maybe that's his motivation. I'm like, maybe he's got a half-brother who's a full elf. And that, originally, Archibald was just an elf. He didn't have anything special about him. And then I thought, why have a normal character? Why not make him a magical nuclear weapon?
Why not make him a god?
And that's what I did.
Perfect.
I had no idea what Archibald was gonna be like. I didn't plan any of his personality other than the fact that he was kind of a shut-in because he was hiding all of his powers the whole time he was growing up, but he was always worried about them and he never really wanted to deal with them.
Yeah.
So he wasn't good. All I knew about Archibald going in was he wasn't good with people. And then I just turned him into like a nervous 16-year-old who's stuck with a bunch of strange adults.
Yep.
That just sounds like my childhood. Just not really good with people, and then became a nervous 16-year-old.
Perfect.
Demi in the chat says, normal characters, I'm a goddamn baby with a nuke.
And now we've lost that nuke.
Also sounds like my childhood as well.
What?
Huh.
Moving on. Next question.
Next question. We'll get to sock some other day. Cryo, this one's actually for you, and it's from me. What was the first time we broke the campaign? Like, to where we just went completely off script for you.
Completely off script.
Episode 1, 15
I
minutes.
mean,
Yeah.
I kind of plan for you guys to do, like, I try not to make dead set plans of what I think you guys are gonna do, because I know that that's not gonna work out at all.
Yeah.
But I'd say the one time when I really thought I was like I really have it in mind what you guys are gonna do, and you just absolutely did not, was in Shasla. Actually, was the first time. I've talked to Noah about this, and I've mentioned it. I can't quite remember who all I mentioned it around. In Shasla, if you go back and watch the episode, in Shasla, I describe that there is a tavern. There is a strange shop, like an open front shop with a bunch of interesting stuff. There is a fishing shop. And then there's this one building that looks kind of like a house. And you guys never went into that last building. You never talked about it. You never looked at it. You never went in it. There was a dude in there with, like, quests and ancient knowledge and, like, prophecies and shit.
Bro, why would you tell us that? We could still go back.
Yeah, we can go back. He's
Here
not
we
there
find out
anymore.
Shasla
The house is
is
gone.
destroyed.
Yeah, the house is just gone.
And Shasla has
House is
sunk
gone.
into the ground. Remember when we dealt with the Sahagins? Gone.
And now we all have to play it off. Like, when we go back and the house is gone, we have to play it off like Twix to be like, wasn't there a house here?
Because it's like every other thing you described there is so much more interesting than there's a house. If I'm like,
Bro, there's a
I have to
house.
walk down the street, there's like 3 stores, there's a bar, and then someone lives there. It's like, I'm not gonna knock on the door and be like,
No,
what's up?
you're on like a 13-story scaffold over ocean, and there's just a 2-bedroom, and you're not gonna question that?
No, why would I?
I'm not
Good
shopping
him.
for apartments.
Good for him. Glad he found somewhere to stay. I don't give a shit.
But yeah, I had a whole thing planned out, and then you guys dicked around with Sally for like 2 hours.
Sally
Maybe
was
you
our
shouldn't have made
girl.
Sally such an entertaining character.
Yeah.
Hello!
If she hadn't been so fun, we wouldn't have gotten so distracted.
Yeah. If
This
she was
is
just
why
like,
I gotta
welcome to
make
the
every.
shop.
I have to just make every fucking merchant hate you guys, so you don't stick around and
Yeah.
fuck with them, so that they
No,
don't get
because
invited.
you made
I
a
have to
merchant
make-
hate us and we blew up his fucking shop.
Well, he asked for it.
I have to find the right medium. I have to make them. I just have to make them boring so that you don't assault them, stick around forever, or invite them to Twinktania. I have to pick one.
At
Like,
this
not
point,
only- Sorry.
I said at
It's
this
like not
point,
only. Okay, go ahead. Sorry, Ellen. Go ahead.
I'm
At this
done.
point, you're
That's it.
inviting
Yeah.
them to Twinktania.
just invite
I'm
everyone.
inviting everyone, yeah.
I don't know what anyone's talking about right now.
Oh yeah, this is all before Pulse. Yeah,
Pulse
BP. This is BP before Pulse.
BP.
Yeah, imagine Pulse not watching the previous episodes. What a
Imagine.
Wow.
Yeah,
What a
imagine him. I guess now's a great time to talk about that. Pulse only got our notes because I hadn't edited up to where Pulse was coming in yet. And he definitely didn't watch any of the sessions after I released them.
God.
I
So-
tried. My time is.
Yeah, Pulse.
Pulse is busy. We don't
Yeah.
blame you, buddy. It's just funny.
No, yeah,
I just
Uh,
watched the Lotus highlight reels.
yeah.
The
So
Lotus clips on YouTube.
So it was really funny because, we have Mara, this character who was clueless to all the plot that was slowly starting to unfold in front of us. Because Pulse was equally clueless. It wasn't like Pulse knew what was going on and, was just pretending to be Mara. No, Pulse had no fucking idea what was happening. And, after every session, he would sit back and just be like, I had no idea what was going on for half of that. And we would explain it to him.
It's great though, because we would explain what was going on to Pulse. Like every time we'd be like, oh, so this, and he'd be like, oh, that's so cool.
Oh,
He's
it
method
did-
acting.
It took me a while to settle. Not gonna lie.
Yeah, but now he's so deep into the campaign at this point that he doesn't really need to
won't
think
let
we don't even think that much on things that happened before Pulse jumped into the campaign.
Yeah, Pulse, how do you feel now that you've had time to adjust? This is my question to you. How do you
It's also a question
you
from Ray. I
feel?
was gonna get there.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, I was about to
What?
bridge and be like, our own Ray / Numawick asked Pulse, how are you enjoying Starlost so far, and how have you
Yo,
gotten...
Yeah, well,
Ray.
too bad. She got her fucking question stolen.
Get
Now it's
Ray,
fucked,
out
chaos.
loser!
Yeah, it's not stolen. I said it first.
Yeah.
To be fair, she
Same
asked 2
hat.
days ago.
Same brain. No, she fucking did. She's not here. You just asked the question out loud now. That means nothing 2 days ago. What?
All right.
Anyway, Pulse.
So what was the question?
How do you feel now that you've had time to like adjust and settle? How do you like it?
God, it took me a while to like actually get adjusted because like one, I had no idea any of the lore at all, so that overwhelmed me a lot. Not even to lie about
Pulse
that.
came in a section to where all the lore was being dumped out at once.
That was way overwhelming.
My B.
The next one is I had a hard time adjusting with Mara. I'm used to a certain set of characters, and I've had to find a way to get him to talk more, to act out more, because he's very reserved typically, and I found my ways as time has gone on, and I think like growing accustomed to the party has been a big part of that for sure.
Yep.
But besides the troublesome bumps, I'm enjoying just exploring the power of Mara and like the influence that
Yeah, we
he'll
know.
have around him. I think that's definitely been the funnest part. Also, talking to everyone's favorite character, Lotus. Dear Lord,
Yeah,
I've
yeah.
like
This Starlost Shanties is sponsored by Lotus.
But I think what is it? So, some of my favorite moments have actually just been the interactions between like Mara and Lotus, because like when Mara was first introduced, he was just like, a big stranger, and then all of a sudden, this girl gets lost. He goes and finds her, and then he tells her some random bullshit about stars that make no sense.
We should talk
But-
about that moment specifically because it did make sense in the exact opposite direction of what you wanted it to make sense.
I just want you to know your problems
Are
is
like
probably
stars.
a lot worse
Yeah.
than you think it is.
It's like stars seem really small, but when you get close to them, they're massive. Kind of like your problems. This is a massive problem.
It looks
Okay.
really small at a distance, and then you get up close to it, and whoa, is it way worse?
I remember listening to that because I was just sitting here. I'm like listening, like, oh wow.
Yeah, like it
Kinda
was really
seeing some
profound
nice
for a
stuff.
bit.
And then like at a moment where I just had like the loading circle on my brain, I was just like, the fuck did he just say?
Yeah, wait a minute.
Hold up. I'm gonna need a moment to process that. 'Cause what?
It's like it's so conflicting because like I try and make up this stuff on the fly, and then it comes out so different than what I'm imagining, but then it makes it better.
It does.
It's like the meme of like there's like the thing in the brain and then like the arrow and then how it comes out of the mouth. It's just like, don't worry about it. Your problems are a lot worse than they seem to be.
I think my mind went to a dumber joke. It was there are 2 wolves inside of you. When you said that, and I went, there are 2 wolves inside of you, and neither of them know what they're talking about.
And they're both high.
And they're both eating berries.
I'm just gonna
One
leave it
one
on
of
Mary.
them's just a picture of Moon.
Can't wait for us to meet Sox's werewolf ancestor, Moon.
What have I created?
No. All right. Then I guess we'll give Ray credit for a question this time because she has the next one of how are we liking Minori? And what's been our favorite part of Shade Step as we are most definitely leaving it now.
Wait, where's
Minori is the capital of Shady
Yeah.
Steppes.
Oh, okay.
It's
Yeah.
the city
um,
you've been in this whole time. You were in that
my
whole
bad,
time.
my bad.
No,
My
it's
bad.
perfect that you don't know, because Mara wouldn't care.
I mean, I didn't know either. But...
I don't know. It's definitely different. It's good to be in a city finally. We really haven't been. We were when we started, but not really. And then everything we've gone along the way hasn't been a full-blown city.
Yeah.
So that's a nice experience to have. Shade Step kind of sucks. But Minori. Hey,
Shade Step kind of sucks exclusively for the people.
yeah.
Man,
That is
y'all
a
had a
gorgeous
great
city.
opportunity.
No, don't get me wrong. The question, Shade Step, amazingly built.
Yeah.
As a character, Shade Step sucks.
Yep.
I was so excited to make you guys trek across the proper continent of Shade Step to get your next boat. And yeah, I was gonna show you guys like the rolling hillsides and all the cool like lava flows and stuff. No, you just convinced Matthias to take you in his boat.
Sucker.
I like the fruit shop. With,
That
like,
was
fruit
with the
shop.
chocolate.
Hey,
Ironically, that is one of the lost parts. But yeah, no. When we talk
Oh,
about the
yeah.
chocolate pomegranates, it's because the birds went to go shop and got a chocolate pomegranate at the right next to the weapon shop that we promptly blew up.
And then I remember, so Dolus got 2 pomegranates, and he got one with chocolate on it for Lotus. And then Mara was like, "Oh, can I have some?" And then Dolus stepped in. He was like, "No, you can't. You cannot have some. Buy your own."
Dolan just straight up
You're
was
an
like,
adult.
"Excuse you? No."
Yeah. I
wanted
just
a
bought this
sample,
for her.
dude.
No, buy your own.
You're a grown ass man. Buy your own pomegranate.
Oh,
You
yeah.
did, to be
I
fair.
almost got into
You
a
did.
business deal with him too.
You did.
You did. That is
Yeah.
actually something that we ignored because it never came up again.
Well, he was like, "I'll come back tomorrow. We'll talk about stuff." He never went back.
Never went back.
He never went back.
So yeah,
He had to leave, to be fair.
little inside detail for all of you who are watching the Shanties things. There was one part that was cut out of the sketchbook, and it was the fact that Mara tried to strike a deal with the pomegranate shop to help their druids make better pomegranates. But never went back.
I doubt
Some
we ever.
things
well,
happen.
maybe we will.
We are never going back to Minori. Sodden probably has wanted posters for all of us now.
I mean, you
They
can't
were
go back.
really good pomegranates.
Maybe it's worth it.
I think
Definitely.
I think I had a lot of fun destroying Minori, especially that one shop where I tore up his floor and threw it.
Oh god,
We fucked that shop up.
that shopkeep was he was a dick though, so it's fair.
Yeah.
He literally asked for it.
Yeah, he literally asked for it.
He said
Um,
right out the rip, he's like, "I bet you can't do it if you can." There's no one to blame but myself.
I think my favorite part of Minori was the expectations we all had. We all knew we were going there, and when we learned about the conference, we all kind of had different expectations of what was going to happen with the conference, and we were all so wrong. Like everything we expected we had to do. We thought it was going to be a challenge to get Twink into the conference. We thought we were going to have to lie and cheat, and we did. But it was a lot easier of a lie than we thought it would be.
Thanks, Cryo.
Got you. I got you, fam. Here's the thing. We had, when we were getting ready for Minori, we had people who were like, we're going to have to do this like a heist and sneak in. Maybe we could talk to a bunch of NPCs and fix. Maybe we could fake things. Maybe we could make deals with guards and da-da-da-da-da. And I was like, wouldn't it be really fucking funny if I just let him in?
So was that
Twink was
something
just
that
like,
like
"I
we
have a
accidentally
country."
controlled how that went?
Yeah, Twink
That
was
would be-
just like, "I have a country," and they were like,
Okay. Yeah.
It was
Not how that went.
That
not
is
how that
almost
went at all.
exactly how that
No, it
went.
isn't. Every single person was like, "That's not a country." That is exactly.
And they still let you get away with it. That's the thing.
because Arlasha said he could stay.
Yeah.
true.
Thanks,
Granny
Granny.
really was like, he could stay, fam.
I mean, I was talking more about the initial like getting into the like when we first arrived.
Oh,
'Cause,
yeah, no.
you were just like, yeah, no, for Twinktania,
Yeah.
and then like the lady was just like, okay, and then we stood up and we had your magic flag above you of a country that didn't exist,
Yep.
and then everyone was like, oh, and then it was just like, okay, I guess this works.
Woo! Welcome to Twinktania! Everywhere's Twinktania now!
It was a lot easier than I think any of us expected. And I think a lot of our I think that's when we learned that like we really don't know what we're getting into at all. Like we can't predict Cryo because if we try to, he will just do something to turn our predictions on us.
You'll never know what's gonna happen, except for all the times you guys have known what was gonna happen, but we don't talk about that.
Yeah. So we actually have a question from the lovely Miss Claire. If
Oh,
you
boy.
commissioned, or I guess we'll give the preface. I understand the D&D characters are fun to create, but I've been seeing a lot of custom dice as well. If you commissioned a dice set based on your personality, what would they look like?
Oh boy.
Berries.
I was going to say, are we saying our actual personalities or our characters'
Characters.
personalities?
Oh, yeah, that's
Thinking the
actually a good point.
characters.
Because I was about to say, if it's for our actual person, I feel like a lot of our dice would look very different from our characters if we were to commission them based on our own personalities. I guess we could do both. Who wants to go first? Who knows?
I'll go. I know.
I'd say
I
characters,
know who
but I don't
am.
want the
know what I'm
DM to
about.
feel left out. Cryo actually does know some dice for some of the NPCs that he would want.
So my own dice, actually, I don't think I'd need to commission more dice because I found these dice on Etsy, and they are like my dream dice. They're metal. They're this really nice like gray and steel graphite. These are the dice I use all the time. If it'll adjust, it won't. Boom.
makeup
I love
camera
these
now.
dice. I love these dice.
Makeup
They're
tutorial.
amazing. What?
We were saying makeup tutorial. The look at this thing.
Yeah, no, I love these dice. I don't think I would ever need to. If I commissioned a dice, they would basically probably just be these, but darker, because I really like black. And then as far as characters go, Archibald's personality-wise would probably be really plain. They'd probably be like a really light brass. Really basic. Lorelei's would be gold. They would be gold with silver to trim because
Of course.
and when I say gold, I mean they'd be made of gold. Like they would be solid. Harmon's would be dice from a bunch of different sets. Like I would just commission them to look like they're completely different each one. Nothing would match.
Well, there's like dice grab bags. Like, you
Yeah.
grab
He'll be
handfuls.
missing
These are
because he's
Harmons.
missing an eye.
He's missing one of the percentile dice. He just has to roll the 10 twice. So those yeah. Pretty simple. I know my answers, so I figured I'd get it out of the way real quick, but let's move on, I suppose.
Anyone else ready to fire?
Okay, so for Dolus, it would probably be like a kind of like a smoky like green inside. Like a clear like acrylic dice and like with some like smoky green like accents.
Yeah.
Probably that, or have it like black with like green accents and like numbers on them, just something like that. For personality wise, probably like a lavender with like kind of like a starry like a kind of like a night sky kind of looking interior, some sparkles like stars. That would be like my personal dice.
I vibe.
Pulse
I
Ian,
like
which
it.
one of you wants to go first?
I'd probably have first off, Twink wouldn't do dodecahedrons at all. So he would do the
The
prism dice.
the funky shaped dice.
prism
Well,
dice?
yeah, he'd do prism dice, yeah, because I mean they're more functional, I guess. They just
Alright.
they literally roll.
Yeah.
He'd probably have a prism set, and the colors would be like the burnt reddish orange of like hot metal.
Ooh.
Yeah, yeah.
That sounds nice.
What about for yourself?
I would not be able to make a set for myself. Probably, I mean, my favorite. So personally, my favorite type of dice are the clear prism dice. Not
Yeah.
prism, but the clear, like they're just clear, but when light
Pristine.
reflects through them, they give off the different glows. So
Yeah.
I like those specifically. Those are like my favorite types. But that's not really custom because those are made. So I don't know what I would do custom, but it'd be something along the lines of dealing with that.
Pulse.
Oh boy.
So pretty easy for Mara. Berries in the middle,
Berries.
stars everywhere else surrounding it.
There you go.
Would be pretty
it's
easy.
Pretty easy.
That's simple.
The man knows what he's about.
Good for him.
For myself, have you guys recently seen the new Star Wars anime stuff?
Oh,
I haven't.
Visions?
I've seen like trailers, but I haven't actually watched it.
I've
yet.
seen bits and pieces.
Yeah, it's because like I'm a man of both worlds, sci-fi and anime. probably form something around that. I think pretty much.
You get the best
it's
of
the both
both
worlds.
worlds.
I'm sorry, Ian.
I'm disappointed.
A head shake.
Good.
All right.
Gosh.
Then I suppose we should move on.
What?
Do
How
you
many
have
more
an
questions
answer?
we got?
Probably about 3 more. Do I have an answer?
Yeah.
Yeah. So for socks, I would probably go for like a translucent blue with like some solid red, like splatters of solid red inside the dice. To really nail in that, like, he's that kind of pristine blue about him, and then there's the werewolf that kind of gets a little fucky, and it's a very wild, bright color inside an otherwise tame
Very
image.
tame blue color.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And then for myself, I just really like that kind of mint green. So if I could just get dice, like, again, that kind of translucent. I love the translucent type dice. I have metal ones that basically nail that down already. You guys have probably, I mean, I know that anybody in the party, but like these, I love these little guys. I know that is not focusing at all. I gotta fucking, there we go. I also love metal dice, but if I were going to go resin, I would definitely try to get like a translucent kind of minty green about it. But yeah, we don't have that many questions left. I know that Oz asked one, and then I have 2 left for you guys. So,
Oh boy.
Thank you for the question, Eclair.
yes, thank you
Yeah.
so much for the question, Claire. And Oz, any places in particular that you really want to revisit? I feel like we haven't been that many places.
I really haven't, but
Well, now I want to go back to that house.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't want to go back to the house. I want to go back to the Swagans because I want to see my statue in my honor. Mm.
I
That's a
would
fair reason.
I would love to go back to the castle. Like, I would love to go back to the castle that we dealt with after the Sahagins. And, because, like, I feel like we blazed through that
Oh,
thing.
the temple.
The temple. The temple.
Yeah,
We
okay.
blazed through that temple.
You really did.
Granted, not exactly by choice. Like, we just so happened to hit the flags correctly to kind of propel us through it.
Yeah, y'all really nailed that. Y'all really.
If it was a speed run, damn.
You did. And Pulse wasn't even here yet.
Yeah, what the fuck?
I want to go back to that shop and ruin his floor even more.
Just do it again.
That would be
I-
amazing.
Just because I can.
Yep.
That's where the series is gonna end off. It's like the whole party
Yeah, the
walking back
epilogue.
through Shade Step. Yeah, we're all just like walking off into the sunset, and then the camera pans behind us, and we're walking into that guy's shop.
You hear Lotus
with
go.
weapons in hand.
Goodness. You're level 20. You could like use power word kill at this point.
But we
You're
And we
not
just fuck with
gonna-
them with like first level shit.
Yeah, we just come in and spit on his floor and leave.
Fuck you, you racist
Stab it.
bastard.
God.
All right. Well, I think that one was short and sweet. Unless anybody else has an
Yeah.
answer of where we want to go back.
I would really think it would be cool if you guys went back to the Empire at
Yeah.
some point since
And
you
back
like
to the
left.
house.
I think it would be cool if you guys went back to the house and maybe let that guy give you some quests and stuff. I don't know, maybe.
Oh, I just think it'd be pretty cool.
I think the Empire. I'm more interested about all the fun places you can go than places you can go back to.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I was going to
same.
say, as the DM, you have a lot more insight into like where we are capable of going than.
When you go, there's just no telling how far you'll go, unless I tell you.
Yep.
You won't,
You won't.
All right, next question.
pussy.
Next question. So, I feel like this is something that we haven't talked about at all. Kay, Dolus, you killed yourself.
Is that a question or is
Like, that
that
was one of the. That was
statement.
that.
YouTube
Yeah.
wasn't gonna monetize us yet. There it is.
Nah.
Yeah.
There was that like there's not much of a question here. This was something that I was just like when I knew what cast I was bringing on for this, I was like, we got to talk about the fight with Iliac. And it was our first run-in with the Starlost. Like, we didn't know the Starlost were a thing. We just sort of knew that there was some threat that Dolus eventually had to kill, and it turned out to be him.
Mhm.
So I kind of just want to go through your mindset for that.
Oh, I was so fucked up. Like, okay, so basically for so many sessions, I had just had this in the back of my head. Like, I'm gonna have to murder someone. Like, Dolus doesn't like killing people. The first time he ever killed someone was during the campaign. It was on accident.
Sogging.
Yeah, and so he's just like, God damn it, I have to kill someone. And so we're in this guy's shop, after we fucked it up, and then I get like a gust of wind pushing me outside, and I'm like, oh cool, Kylie wants to talk to me. I get up on this roof, and he's like, oh, there's another Arakakra. And then like she's like, oh, and I told you I would get you meet this guy, blah blah blah. And his name is Iliac. And I was just so no one else except for Ray knew why I was freaking out, because it hadn't been revealed to the party yet that was like Dolus's given name, like when he was born, was Iliac. And so it's just like, oh yeah, the person you have to kill is, and then your first name. And I'm just like, fucking pardon.
This was
Excuse-
Pulse's
that's what we're
third
gonna
session,
end?
by the way, so that's why it was so confusing for him.
Yeah, he was like, and this is where we're gonna end today's session. I'm like, what do you mean this is where we're gonna end today's session?
Ruh-roh, Raggy. Like, just fucking.
I should have sit with this for another week.
Yes,
And
you
then I
do.
killed
And then I think it
myself.
ended up being 2 weeks because we had to cancel the next week, if I remember correctly.
Yeah. And I killed myself.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a whole. I remember it was a really cool moment with Ray, where like Lotus like flew up and she was just like, "What's happening?" And I said like he said his name was Iliac, and for Lotus it immediately clicks. It's like kill, kill
Yeah.
this one. Who the fuck is this? But
I do enjoy. I remember watching it, or well, I mean, I was obviously involved, but like
There.
watching you guys play, and the moment you're like, he says his name is Iliac, and Ray's like, Lotus guns it, and I was just like, oh boy.
yeah, and it was just like a whole thing. I was like, oh, we gotta get like, because I couldn't take him on. I was assuming in my head, I was assuming that this guy was stronger than me by like a bit, so I was like, I gotta get the whole party, but I can't let him escape in case. So like I was immediately thinking like he's gonna try and frame me for something, like if this is where the story's going, is like the escape, like everyone's gonna think that Dolus killed someone. Why is this guy here? What the fuck is happening? But yeah, no, it was just really, I was really not expecting it. It was really well done on Cryo's part.
You.
It was such a twist. I was just like, just because I'm it was just so ingrained in my mind, like, oh, there's gonna be some random guy. He's gonna probably be like the nicest guy, like, and I just gotta kill him for no reason. Kylie's just being a bitch. He's just like, oh, you gotta kill yourself. I'm like, all right, cool, I guess.
Oh.
So, fun thing, I hadn't thought of the Starlost yet and set that all up when originally Kylie was like, hey, I want you to kill somebody.
Who was I gonna kill?
You don't need to know.
What
You
do you
don't
Means
mean?
it's
need
going
to
to
know.
come up.
You don't need to. Well, I mean, no, because it's been retconned. Like,
Yeah.
I properly retconned it because I was like, like once I thought of the Starlost, I was like, what's a good way to incorporate them? And I'm like, what if? Oh, I had like such a big brain moment. I was so proud of myself.
It was really good.
I was so excited. I was so excited to drop the name Iliac too. I confirmed with Ray. Not
The
with
original
you. I
guy you had to
confirmed
kill
with
was in the
Ray.
house.
Everything I retcon is just in the house now. If I
Yeah.
ever tell you guys about stuff I retconned, it's in the house.
Should have gone in that house.
Yep.
Just, well, that sucks. I bet you really wanted to see that. It was in the house. Too bad. Yeah, no, I asked Ray. I was like, how do you pronounce Iliac? Like, I asked her in VC like 2 days before. I was like, how do you pronounce like Dolus's given name? She's like, Iliac. And I was like, yeah, that. And I played it off like I was talking about something else. But no, I was so ready. I was like, I'm gonna drop the name. It's gonna be great. He's gonna lose his mind, and then I'm gonna end the session.
So I
That's the
lied.
best
Like,
feeling in
I
the
find-
world as a DM, though, isn't it? Cryo?
Oh,
That's
yeah.
the best feeling
Knowing
in
you
the
just made a
world.
player shit themselves.
Yep.
Ian had a similar thing with that with our home campaign. He ended a session with me at sword point. And I think he got a real kick out of that because he knew damn well I was shitting myself because I had dug my own grave. I knew exactly why I was at sword point. So, I actually lied. We have one more question after
more
this
question?
one, but
Ah.
I think this first one's gonna be pretty quick. Ian, Twink, buddy, you're the leader of a fake, real country.
It's a real fake country, all right.
Yeah, it's a real fake country, and I want to have you go on the record and say what your mindset is with all of that, and how you even thought that was a good idea, and how you ended up here.
All right. So first off, Cryo goes and does this thing, right, where he drops this thing. I'm like, oh yeah, I'm a representative for this conference. And you're like, you guys are going to the conference, right? And of course, I'm like, they've got information.
Yeah.
I need that information. I'm going to that conference. So I was like, I'm definitely representative. They were like, oh yeah, what country? And I was like, and I was like, Twigtania. And of course, all of us knew immediately that was bullshit.
Yeah.
But that person didn't know, and he did a good job of like, okay, it's a weird country name. And the whole thing was just to get info about that conference at first, and then it just kept going and going, and then they were like, yeah, okay, you can sit in, and I'm like, say what?
What?
You mean because I even said it in the episode. I was like, does this mean I'm a country now? And no, yeah, they were all like, no, and I was like, oh, soon. I was like, if we can get this far, we can go to the moon, baby. Let's go.
This is where we'll give a little hint of what's to come.
No, don't give hints. Don't give hints.
Yeah, no hints.
No
No
hints.
hints. This is gonna be
No
a
hints.
no hints.
No hints.
Get out of
No,
here.
no.
Yeah, what the fuck, Noah? You're not allowed to
Hey.
moderate anymore.
Tell
Don't
them.
fucking.
Tell
Whoa.
them- Just tell them.
Yeah, just straight up tell him. All right, well, let me tell you guys. No, go ahead, Ian.
Yeah, so I mean, it was just to get information at first, and then there were all these things, and it was just like, this just keeps falling into place. And I was like, you know what? Twink can do this shit. Like, he gonna be real bad at it, but he's gonna do this shit. And
Lo
Here
and
we
fucking
are.
behold.
Yeah, here we are, and we'll see what's to come. I'm sure Cryo has some crazy shit planned.
I'm
Oh,
so
yeah.
excited for you to usurp every nation on the planet until everything is Twinktania.
Yep.
I mean, what? I would never do that.
Oh no, never! I would never do that.
Looks into
Never.
the camera like I'm on The Office.
And
I
then
would
last,
never.
but certainly not least, I think it's a quick and sweet one. And it's from, again, our lovely Ray. What is our favorite NPC so far? And who is our least favorite? And she specifically says, excluding Sodden.
Ah, cry. Don't get your feelings hurt.
It's fine.
This is okay. I'm fine.
I make people for you to hate. That's good.
Yeah.
That shopkeeper's a dick.
There we have
We
it.
lost Kay! Wait a minute!
Ah!
Kay!
He dead. He's back. No. Yeah.
Okay.
No.
Oh no.
Right at the end. Come on,
He's
Kay!
sleeping.
Couldn't
He's
take the
sleeping.
shopkeeper.
Kay was like, I have to go.
You mentioned the shopkeep, and he did the piece fade away.
He did. He faded. Like, there was no hard
Oh my
cut. He
God.
faded out.
He's still in call. He's muted.
Oh, I think he got something going on. His people. Well, we can go get
Yeah,
some
let's
other
just go.
answers then.
We'll go
Yeah.
ahead.
Pulse. Who's your favorite of who you've met since you've given your least favorite?
Probably Harmon.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you said your least favorite was Harmon. I was like, are you fucking crazy?
Harmon's hilarious. Oh my god.
Harmon's on something.
He
Harmon's
feeds
a
my
joy.
chaotic energy. Like, if I ever make an old man character, it's gonna be something similar to him.
Yeah.
Harmon is the character that I really want to just... I want him to be lucid long enough for me to pick his brain. I want to know what's going on upstairs.
There's nothing going on upstairs.
We got Kay back. Hold on. Let me
Hi,
fix his
Kay!
camera.
I don't know what happened. For me, I thought that on my end,
Oh, no.
like Noah left for my thing, and I was like, oh wow, Noah left, and then everyone else started one by one leaving the thing. I was like, wait, hold on. I think
Oh
this is a
no.
me issue.
Oh no.
Hang on, this might not be what I think it is.
Kay, did you get the question at least? Okay.
Oh, he's quiet again. He's
no.
muted.
Oh, favorite and least favorite NPCs. Yeah.
Okay,
Yes.
you got it. Okay,
Alright,
so
Kay.
Pulse said his favorite was Harmon. Let's go ahead and get his least favorite while we're here.
Oh, I already said that.
It's the shopkeep.
Oh yeah, it's the shopkeep. Yeah, fuck that shopkeep.
Yeah.
Fair.
All right.
Okay.
Okay, what you got?
So, I think, from my perspective, my favorite NPC is probably, you wouldn't think based on how my character acts. It's probably Kylie. I really like Kylie, and just like I love all the opportunities for RP that I get with Kylie. As Dolus, I think that's a really fun dynamic. Least favorite, it's really hard when you take Sodden out of the equation.
Yeah, right. Like,
Yeah,
because that's
it
the thing.
is.
Sodden is like the one that we're all like, fuck that guy.
Yeah.
We know Sodden is our least favorite.
Yeah. Get back to me on this.
Okay.
All right, we're gonna loop
Ian?
back around.
Ian, you
All
have
right.
very strong opinions, so let's go with you.
My favorite NPC by far is Eggled. By
Oh,
far, my favorite NPC. One, because he just does whatever I say. Least favorite NPC. I'm gonna be honest. It's gotta be the Shade Step captain, the guard captain.
Oh, Delane.
Oh,
Delane.
Delane.
Yeah, I just didn't care for Delane. He didn't have. I felt like he should have been more than what he was, and he just didn't. He wasn't. He just wasn't. He was a letdown to me. I expected more from Delane, and I was let down.
Step up.
Maybe
I
he's
gotta
gonna
step
be-
up if he ever pulls up again.
Well, now when he pulls up, he's gonna be leading an army against Tanya. So.
yeah. Like this is gonna be all. It's gonna be all our problem now.
And I've made a mistake, so maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I think not like Twink's least favorite. That was my least favorite. I guess that needs to be stated.
Fair enough.
Cryo, or actually, I'll answer real quick because yours is gonna be more complex. Favorite, hands down, Archibald. I love that fucking kid. I love that fucking kid. I've said it a million times. I love that kid. I love our awkward little nuke. Least favorite, I'm gonna try and edge away from everyone else here. Oh god, I'm gonna try, but I'm certainly not gonna do super well. Yeah, God, I almost want to agree with Ian. Like with Delane, he was there.
He was just there.
Yeah, he was just there. But like with the captain, I expected him to give more of a shit. But he didn't. He didn't. So so that was really kind of a pain. Like Delane was just a character to where it was just like I had no strong opinion of him. Like everyone else, I kind of developed an opinion for over time, but Delane, I was just like, all right, Delane's just gonna make sure that he's gonna make sure we get back to our room safely, and then he's gonna fuck off.
Mm-hmm.
Just vibing. He's just
to finish my point, so actually my least favorite NPC besides Sudden is a character that has not been introduced yet. Was introduced in the most recent session that we have.
Yeah.
Played. Definitely my least, one of my, probably maybe like on the level of Sudden. But as a placeholder answer, I'll say the racist fucking shopkeep. Like he sucks.
Yeah,
that's fair.
Like, the guy sucks. But to make up for that, I also have answers for Dolus. So Dolus's favorite NPC is Kylie. And his least favorite NPC is also Kylie.
Perfect.
Yeah, no.
It's so well.
Kay, I agree with you hands down. That NPC we met most recently, it's actually funny because there's a different layer for me on why I hate him so much. Fuck that guy.
Yeah, that's enough. I think it's enough talking about that.
No, that's it. That was just fuck that guy.
We're not
Yeah,
talking
so
about
Cryo, what was your answer?
Yeah, Cryo.
Well, I mean, that's weird. That's weird for me because I am them.
Yeah. Which one do you hate being the most?
Which one do I hate being the most? Oh God.
Yeah, that's why I saved you for last.
Be careful
like,
how
you're
answer
really
this,
gonna
I'll
have
just
to
talk
think
to
about
him all the time.
Yeah.
I love it. I love being Kylie. Every second I'm Kylie is joy. I don't like being... I'm going to give two answers to this. I don't like being Matthias because I mess up his accent constantly.
I think you've gotten it
love
down.
the concept of being Matthias. I think Matthias is great. I want to be Matthias more often, but I struggle with Matthias's accent. And then this is something I haven't told any of you guys. This is I don't want to make this too real, so I'm not going to go super in deep. I don't really enjoy being Fagin because the player who used to be Fagin and I aren't friends anymore. We don't talk anymore. So being Fagin has kind of a sad essence to it for me when I am Fagin. Fagin's also like I've changed stuff around, so it's like it's not like I'm just nabbing my friend like this old friend's character. But it's one of those things where like whenever I'm Fagin, I'm like, oh. Yeah.
I'll kill him.
We'll kill Fagin for you. It'll all work out.
We'll kill Fagin.
No, we can't kill Fagin.
Why
not?
Kill Fagin.
No.
Squeak Tanya needs Fagin. They're friends.
Can't kill Fagin.
Dang it.
So those. I don't really have anyone like. I mean, obviously, Sodden personality-wise sucks, but I made him to suck so that
you fucking love being Sodden. Like I can
love
tell.
being Sodden. Sodden is like all of the best, most irritating traits of like Professor Snape and a bunch of other annoying characters that I shoved together.
Sodden was literally like the epitome of every. Like I had thought about like what kind of characters would Dolus like not mesh with, and Sodden was just like the epitome of every character trait that I was like, if they have this, Dolus probably won't really like them. I was like, oh, I fucking hate this guy.
Episode 18 was, I think, the moment to where it took everything in all of us to not get arrested. Like,
The
We-
first time Dolus was in the same room as Sodden, he started saying something, and Twink had to be like, oh, Dolus, please stop.
yeah,
Calm down.
yeah, like we talked about it after that session, and Cryo was saying that had we kept pushing, like had we let our emotions get the best of us, we all would have been arrested.
Oh, yeah.
Like we
100%.
all kind of demonstrated where we kind of wanted to go, and he was like, Noah, with Socks, you were one line off from being arrested, and I was like, it's a good thing I shut up then.
Twink handled it very well. Twink
Yeah.
Because Twink was very aware of their situation.
Yeah.
How close they would be to being arrested.
Twink was also the only one with that much clairvoyance with the situation. He was the only one who was super aware of how much of a problem Sodden was.
It's true.
We as the party just knew we hated him.
Did you? Was that the last question?
That was the
Or
last question.
That was the last one. Oh my gosh.
I don't have any more. I think that we covered a lot of ground and
We did.
and managed to wrap up.
This
a
went
lot
on
of...
longer than I had
I
expected
actually
it to
have
go.
one last thing to
Ooh.
add. That
Cool, let's hear it.
Oh, it's I don't think Noah's gonna like this.
Uh-oh.
Oh boy.
Oh, sick.
I want to hear it now.
I think the only thing that I thought about it mostly through like my point of view, so I didn't get to answer like Mara's. I think Mara's least favorite is actually Socks.
I'm not an NPC.
Yeah, but like he's had like the most conflict with you though overall.
Get fucked, Noah.
Just like he's never angry, but you made him angry.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They had very contrasting personalities. Mara was
Yeah.
the stoner, let it flow, and Socks is the like, we needed a little bit of order, kiddo.
Mild control
Yep.
freak.
No, but like at the end of the day, I also know that like we say this, they still collaborated on a lot of things. Like,
Oh, no, they're chill.
they definitely weren't huge fans of each other, but they have definitely, huh?
Yeah, they still aren't. Like,
Yeah, they still aren't. They start like, yeah, they still aren't huge fans of each other, but like they grow on each other a little bit.
Yeah.
I think the end of the camp, nothing was funnier than you falling down the fucking stairs.
Wait, as
As Mara. Yeah, it's just you falling asleep and falling down the stairs. Even Socks found that fucking hilarious. It was a very similar situation with like how Twink and Socks are, to where it was just like, it was kind of funny that you were in pain for a moment.
Just friendly jabs.
Yeah. But yeah, I think that's all of the questions that we have. And this went on for a little bit longer, but I definitely calculated for the fact that I was probably going to go an extra half hour with it. So yeah, thank you guys. Oh shit. Thank you guys so much for joining us. It has been a ton of fun. We will be back. Who knows when? We'll announce it. It's usually just at a big plot change that we decide to do these things. And this felt like the perfect moment to do it. So, thank you for joining us. Thank you for all of your questions. It's been an absolute blast, and we hope that you will continue to enjoy the story of Starlost Seas as we continue on. It keeps getting wilder, and like every time we think it won't, it does. And it's been super fun, and thank you all for joining us on this journey. We will see you all next time. Goodbye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.